You're like, I don't know what's next. Okay, call somebody who does know what's next. So I would say the theme is move the football 3 yards tomorrow, and then 3 yards the day after that, and you'll keep getting first downs.
What's one thing in school that should be taught that is not? You were the emperor of the galaxy.
One thing I'll say is this: school's in a lot of ways a cruel setup for kids. If you think about it, if you guys have a boss, if you had a boss anymore, and your boss gave you a project, and you worked on that project for a month, and then after a month, your boss came in and said, "This is all wrong. This is not how I wanted it." You'd be like, "I just spent 1/12 of my year doing this. It would have been really nice to know on day 2 that we were headed in the wrong direction." And it's because humans really like a tight feedback loop. They don't like futility. They don't like their work to be squandered. So they like to know quickly, am I headed in the right direction with this, or am I headed in the wrong direction with this? And the cruel thing that we do to kids, or we have historically, is we teach them some concept in class, they get homework that they take home and they try it out that night. And let's say they get it completely wrong. They bring the homework back the next day. The teacher, if they're a great teacher, collects it that day and then takes it home again to grade it that night. And by the time the kid gets the feedback loop, I did this wrong, it's 3 days after they actually did the real assignment. And it's impossible for them to quickly correct when the setup is like that. I'll say the one blessing of digital curriculum is that in some ways, if done right, it can provide a much quicker feedback loop. This is why kids like video games, because video games have a very tight feedback loop. Oh, I died. Okay, reset, start it over again. I gotta try that all over again. Okay, I died again, I'll do that again. And they can modify their behavior quickly and start experiencing more and more success with each iteration. That's why you need a mentor when you're first starting out, because they can give you that quick feedback loop and say, that's not gonna work. The seller's never gonna go for it. Try again, start over. Instead of failing through bad deals, you want somebody who can really provide you with a tight feedback loop. So if I could change anything about education, it would be a tight feedback loop, especially on money and financial education.
Agreed 100%.
That, by the way, instead of finding out after you graduate college that you're $100,000 in debt and you didn't pick a major that's going to pay that debt off very quickly, that's not a very good feedback loop.
Let's go, we talked earlier about mentorships and mentoring people and talking to people, and a lot of people listening to this show maybe are in that position that, like that 20-year-old that you reached out to you are in. So what I'd like to do is kind of a new segment of our show, and I don't have a catchy phrase or catchy title yet for this section, but basically we're gonna call it, I'm coming up right now, we're gonna call it the, for those just getting started, how would you answer the following? So in other words, if somebody, okay, that's a lame title for this section, but we're gonna work on that one. But imagine like there's people listening to the show that are brand new, and you're really good at explaining concepts. I want to throw some of the most commonly asked questions from new investors at you and see how you would advise people in these situations. Sound good?
Got it. As long as I'm not taking on any moral culpability.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. All right. Would you buy this exact property in the city? First question is, if somebody says, I can't invest in real estate, I don't have the money, how do you respond to that?
My first go-to is, where's all your money going? I'm going to say this: real estate investing is not a transactional thing. It's a long thing. Okay, so if you are saving up money to make towards a down payment, the saving up of the money is part of real estate investing. Okay, so like if you have a car that's way too expensive, by the way, the number one selling car in the United States is an F-150. If you have an F-150 that you don't need and it costs you $40,000, the way to start investing in real estate is to liquidate what you don't need and to start having more money so that you can make a down payment. You can't just say, I can't begin investing in real estate because there's no deal on your desk. It starts with the choices that come before. So my first piece of advice would be sign up for YNAB, which is youneedabudget.com.
Yeah.
Sign up for that. Make sure you know where all your money is going. And then we'll talk about you not having money to make a real estate investment. If you have really bad financial habits and I walk you into a real estate investment, guess where all the profit from that investment is going to go? it's going to continue to go towards your bad spending habits. So in one sense, look, this sounds really bad, but you have to deserve to make profits from real estate by tending the money that you already have well. And for some people, you're not ready. You need to pay off your school debt or your car debt before you even think about investing in real estate. And those steps are part of investing in real estate, because once you dispose of them, you're ready to actually buy a property.
That's so good, man. That's so good. Yeah, it really does begin with that financial foundation. Like, people are like, well, I don't have any money, I can't invest in real estate. Well, like, are you at least willing to commit to living on a budget? And I love that you mentioned You Need a Budget, the YNAB. They're actually a sponsor of this episode of the podcast earlier. Like, I don't even think you knew that, right? Like, they're just like, they're a legit company though, like that I've known about and used for a long time. Like, it's just, where's your money going? Like, live on a budget and make it easy and simple, easy to follow. So yeah, great advice.
Let me throw this out there too. There's probably really experienced real estate investors out there who are making lots of money, and then the minute it comes under their roof in the form of profits, they're not taking care of it. So all this work that they've done out there, going and landing a really great property, they're still pulling their hair out in their home, not budgeting correctly. And let me say this, in YNAB's defense, it costs $50 a month, okay, which is less than it costs for one session of marriage counseling, okay? And my wife and I went from our budget being, it was always a retrospective discussion where we looked at, okay, here's our bank ledger, and we yelled at each other, why did you spend last money on this? Why is this on the credit card? Why did you do this? It was all, budgeting to me was always guilt-inducing and retrospective. YNAB is essentially the envelope system digitally, so that instead of budgeting being about looking backwards at what you spent, you are allocating all of your money going forwards, and it helps you know, okay, after everything is earmarked, here's how much disposable income I have left over to actually go and do something with, like invest in real estate. But they give you a much better picture of where your money can go in the future, rather than, to me, budgeting was always looking backwards and feeling bad. It's a key difference.
It's really good. I like that it's empowering, basically. And it changes your whole mindset towards, oh, I'm excited, I'm allocating $200 towards entertainment. How do you think we can stretch that $200 as far as it'll go? Where should we go? Versus, why did you go spend that money on entertainment?
Right. I'm telling you, it changed our marriage. It really did.
Okay, next question for you here. For those just getting started, how would you answer this? There are no good deals left. The market is too inflated.
I would say you're probably right. Let's watch Netflix.
There we go. End of the show. All right.
I would say you want to buy David Green's book, because David is in a market that a lot of people think is bloated, which is the Bay Area, and they feel like they can't even break into this market. But the good thing about being, let's say you live in the Bay Area, is you can use California money and California equity and arbitrage that to go find a cash flowing property in the Midwest or in the Southeast of the United States. Now, granted, you might not be able to house hack that and move out there the way that I did, but don't be, if you own a house in the Bay Area, you could have millions of dollars of equity that is right now frozen, that with a very easy, through David's protocols, to go find a good property manager in a market that is going to cash flow as soon as you buy it, instead of just closing your eyes and looking around at what happens to be in your neighborhood. So, and it's a very advantageous arbitrage, by the way, because prices, and I'll say values in California are super high. And I'm going to throw this on there right now. If you're listening to this and you already own a home right now, like while you're listening to this podcast, go take showing grade pictures of your house and save them on your computer, and have them always ready, along with a showing description of your home, ready to rock and roll. Because if your life goes sideways, or you need to move, or you want to move, having that stuff ready to rock and roll can mean that you can sell your house more quickly, or you can even refinance more quickly. And it doesn't cost you anything to have pictures of your house cataloged on your computer. My wife, since the last podcast we did, my wife and I sold our house. I had my wife take pictures of our pool and landscaping in May, with nothing on the horizon, and we didn't even know what we were going to do, but I knew this. I knew that come September, we were not going to be able to go back and take May pictures.
Oh, that's true.
So in May, you take May pictures, you catalog them, and you say that, the flowers are new, the mulch is new, the pool is clean. And then when we went to sell it in September, those were the outside pictures that we used to sell our place. And honestly, we had an offer within like 24 hours of listing our place on Zillow.
All right, next question. We got a couple more for you in this section of how would you respond to this question from a new investor,
Sure.
and I need a better name for this. My spouse does not want to invest. How do I convince them to invest in real estate?
Well, first, I would say this.